Now, in this session, we are talking about the React DOM. So React DOM is like we are going to focusing on one of the function, very important function, render. So React DOM is document object model. So React DOM will be consisting with the help of the virtual DOM. Through that virtual DOM, whenever you are rendering is nothing but navigating from one place to another place or moving to one to another. If you want to make some changes in the elements of HTML in JavaScript, what we have done, we are creating some IDs in the HTML document, like for div ID equal to something demo like this, or paragraph ID equal to demo 1, 2, 3. With the help of that ID in the script, with the help of document.getElement by ID, we are calling that particular ID and we are making some manipulations, like whether we can, if you want to inside the HTML, we are using dot inner HTML. If you want to assign any value over there, you can use the assignment operator, and whatever the computation you have done in the script, will throw that into that particular ID. It will be assign that value and it will display in that HTML document. So this is normally done in the figure, shows that React and React DOM. It clearly shows the virtual DOM having the parents means the document, followed by the childs or means the HTML elements. So when you want to be uploading something happen over here in the React DOM, with the help of this one, the stuff will does that to update the HTML or DOM over here. In this normal DOM, we are making the parent and child modification, and the reflection will be done inside again the HTML. So we are reading from the HTML and we are again rendering to the HTML. Okay, so that is a concept how we can do it. Let me see. React DOM is a package. Normally it is a package, React DOM. It's going to be taking on the top level of your web application. For what purpose you are going to using this React DOM means for managing the DOM elements. DOM elements is nothing but document object model elements. Like all HTML elements will be comes under DOM elements, like paragraph, div, body, HTML, header, title, all. Some of the methods of React DOM, or one of the most useful method is render. And we have hydrate also be, and create portal, find DOM node, and unmount component at node. Out of this all methods, in this session, we'll mainly focus on render with its example. The prerequisite to understood the React DOM, or to has to be add React DOM in our React web application, we need to be import this React DOM from the package React-DOM. So we are importing React DOM from the package React-DOM. Okay. So first of all, we had to be must and should required when you are going to be rendering using any functions, any methods of React DOM, we have to be import the React DOM from React-DOM package. Now see the figure overall here, how it will be taking care of the rendering things. Now this is a template, normal, whatever the program you are writing, this is a template. Once you are compiled this one, it will be rendered that function. Rendering means, like already told you, once we are creating a React app, it will having different folders and different files, right? Like node underscore modules, SRC, and we have public, and we have some supporting files. Again, in SRC, we have app.js, index.js. In public, we have index.html. How this has to be rendered? Who will be called first? Who will be called next? What are the dependencies? All together will be triggered here. It will make iterations over here. Once the job has done, the component, whatever the dependencies are there, all together when it is rendered, completed, it returns that to the virtual DOM. From that virtual DOM, the component which we are mounting will patch it and make it the actual DOM. Example, see here for a better understanding. This is an HTML tags, div, ID, my component, end of the div. Now the template compiler, this is from this one, what will happen is, what is the type? What is the type of the element? It will be div. What are the attributes are available is ID. And what is the content we are going to making is in between the opening tag and closing tag, whatever the content is there, that will be in the content field. So this is the object style, right? So open braces, close braces, we have attribute value, attribute value, attribute value. In the same fashion, the compiler, template compiler will convert into this. What is the type of that element, attributes, content, all will be converted. So based on that, it will be make where is the rendering, to whom I need to render, which HTML element I need to render, and what I need to do the make happen over there. So any manipulations has to done, we can done it. Coming to the syntax of React DOM render, I already told you that we are focusing in the session on render. React DOM.render. We have three parameters. One is element, container, callback. Element is nothing but simply like HTML element, or it expects the JSX expression. In the next section, we'll talk about the JSX session. Now, the second part is container. Container is like what we want to be render, what we want to render from over here, whether we want to be make, where I need to render it. That element may be a simple HTML element, the first parameter, or that may be an enter. We'll see some examples so that we can understand. And where I need to be make that render means the container element has to be render. Means in the HTML document, whether in the root or whether in the body or in the body again the paragraph where I need to render this element, that has to be take care. And the callback is like action we have to take care, and this is an optional parameter. Remember, the render function will returns a reference to that component, or if it is render it correctly, or it returns null if you don't have any component as render it. Stateless component means there itself the output has printed means no issue. If the output has not printed, this has built-in component, that component reference will be send it as a reference to this one. And we can have, what is the main use of this function render is, we can make a single React component. What that single component, let me see an example. We can also have the several components to be wrapped together. Wrap means grouped together into one single component, or making that all that wrapped things into a division element. We can wrap that as a single component, or we can wrap as a single division. Now, in simply, we can say render means the purpose of this render function is display the specified HTML code inside the specified HTML element. That is a very simple. So specified HTML code inside the specified HTML element. We want to display a table or one image or one paragraph in the specified HTML element where we want to display that part. That again, we are making the in specifically whether in the body division element or in the body paragraph element, where I need to be display that output of that particular HTML. Because when you want to be render, when you are perform it, the output should be in the again HTML format only. Now, but where we want to be render it, has we have created the React application app. Once you created the React application, already have told you we have different folders. Among the root directory folder, we have one of the folder called as public, right? In that public, we have a element file called as index.html. So if you see how the index.html will look like, this is an example. This is the index.html once you created an app. So once I created an app render file here, we have public folder. Under that, we have index.html. So in this index.html, see how the file will look like. Some of the header file meta elements are there. Under this body, we have a division. Under this body, we have only one division, div id equal to root. Okay. So remember this one. It will be helpful for us while we are discussing the practice programs. Now, this index.html, notice that a single div element will be there, and wherever you are rendering means where you are displaying the specified HTML code means we are rendering to this div only. Okay. So coming to one first example, let me have a 3-4 examples we'll discuss over here. So how to import over here is, see how many files are there, the file structure of this app. I have created an app called as render example. I am importing in this VS code, means VS Visual Studio Code. Under this, I have a app called as render example. See, this is my example. This is my app render example. Once I have created the render example, I have created default a bunch of files, the folder all and the node_modules, public, src, and some of the packages. Now in the index.html, this is the index.html, right? So in the index.html, I have only this is the body. And in the body, I have a division id equal to root, right? Now a simple example, we want writing a simple line of code for ReactJS. What I'm writing here is, I'm just displaying a hello, just a simple message. Where I want to display? I want to display at the division. What is the element at there is? Root. Now, what is this one? What is this code is? It is a JavaScript. This is a script we are writing. So where we want to display the output? in the index.html, it has to be render. Now, how you are rendering means, first of all, to add your React application, React code, we are importing React from React package. And we are also importing React DOM from React-DOM package. What is the purpose of this importing is to access the method that is render we are doing. So already I have told you the render consisting of 3 parameters. One is the element, another is the container, another is the callback, where callback is a optional. The first one is the element. That may be an HTML element, right? Or maybe a JSX expression. The second one is the container. What is the container has to do? This output, the output of the first element, where I need to render. You need to render at document.getElement by ID, where for whichever the element, the ID is root, display that output of hello at that position. Okay, clear? So the output of element will be displayed at the container, that is the ID. So already has shown you that here in the HTML, in this HTML, I will go for VS Code so that you can understand very clear. In the HTML, index.html, there is a ID root. Now, where I need to be paste this code has to be go in the SRC. In the SRC, we have one more file called as, in the last sessions already we discussed about this index.js and index.html. In the index.js, we are going to be making that, importing that React DOM, and we are calling this hello. So once it is done, what should we do? So just run the program. How we can be run the program? Already are aware. So go to the respective page, means folder, go to the command prompt, or in the VS Code, go to the terminal, go to the particular folder, and just npm space start. So once you have done npm space start over here, so it will be run the app in the backend. And once it is successful, it automatically open a browser stating that hello information. So we are not focusing on app.js. We are just focusing on index.html and index.js. In index.js, just we are simply writing a simple code, just displaying at the ID hello, right, at the root place. We'll go for another example to understood very clear over here. See the second example, not only at the ID, in the body we have device, right, div element. Not only that, we can have another elements like header or some other elements, you can use it. This header, we have a ID Sandy. So at the place of Sandy, I'm displaying hello. What I'm doing here is, I'm just taking this header. I'm going to the index.html. So instead of div, I'm just placing as Sandy. Okay, save this. Come to the index.html, index.js at src. What you need to add here? Sandy. Save. Once you save over here, it is compiling and see the output. Hello. Both are same. If you want confused means what we can do, we'll change some output so that you can hello world save. So that you can understood whether that hello or this hello world. Okay. Not only that div, but also we can for a particular element also we can do it. Next example, we'll see the next example. Example 3. Now previously what we have done, only we are having element has passed. Now in the element, what you can take the element, entire table, where it consisting of 2 rows. First row is the name. Second row, in the first row, this heading is name. Under the name, we have the first row. The second row is a John, and third row, Elsa. So this 3 will be there, the names we are displaying. This is a simple table having the first row, second row, third row. Each first row consisting of 1 column, second row 1 column, third row 1 column. Just we are calling this my element as a parameter for render. My element, comma, where I need to display at root. Okay. Go to that particular program, index.html. So in the index.html, already we said the root, right? I'm just making Control Z. Get back to this one. I'm saving this program, index.html, and I'm going to the index.js. In the index.js, just take this code directly. You can use here, index.js. Save it, compile successfully. Now, name John Elsa. Simple, we can do this one. Another example, not only that elements, but also we can do this also. Last example over here in this session, what we are doing is we are declaring a number, just an array of 5 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just I am taking one more variable, updated numbers dot map, as we see in the map, right? So this array elements we are going to mapping. How to use the map over here is the number, it is a number assigning to a list. For a list we are assigning. So numbers is an array mapping to a function that is a number, and we are mapping each number. Number here is each number we are assigning to a list. So once you are rendering, at the time of rendering, updated numbers. So see in the render, first element is what? An element. An element directly we are using underline. This is on order list we are going to making, and making that as updated numbers. Inside this we are calling. And where you need to display that output is at the place of root. Directly we can do this also. Just copy this program. So in the bracket I mentioned where I need to paste the program. Don't be confused between index.html and index.js. Wherever the script is there, index.js. Wherever the HTML body part is there, you can go for index.html. Okay, just I am pasting here. Okay, save. What happened? 2 times, right? Web. Okay. Now see the list, on order list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a simple explanation part for this. We have studied in this session about the React DOM. Under that, we have one of the method, very important method, render, which consisting of 3 parameters: element, container, callback. Okay, so that's about the session over here.